Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, how people are trying to get rich off of a baby hippo. Also, what might be this year's hottest Halloween costume. All that and more on the way next. It is the Hudson Show from Radio U. Thanks for listening and making us a part of your day here on the Hudson Show. There's a viral video going around of a drunk mom getting kicked out of Disneyland. The problem isn't necessarily that she's drunk. It's more that she snuck her children in with her to Disneyland for free without paying. And apparently this is not the first time that she's done this. Allegedly, she has snuck her kids into Disneyland for free 4 times in the last 2 months. Now, everybody's getting mad at this mom, and I suppose rightfully so. It's kind of egregious, her trying to sneak into Disneyland, not pay for these kids. Like, this is just not, it's not the right thing to do. You feel bad for the kids, too, because they just thought they're getting a fun day at Disneyland. And then, I guess we're not. We're getting kicked out here. So, yes, the mom is in the wrong. But can we also be a little mad at Disneyland here? If she's done this 4 times, that means that there's some kind of chink in the armor, if you will. There's some kind of loophole in the system that is letting this mom get in over and over again for free without getting caught. Who knows what other kind of ne'er-do-wells are able to sneak into Disneyland and what kind of intentions they might have. Disneyland has got to button things up here, lock things down, get things under control, because we can't have people sneaking in for free. As much as, in a way, I'd love to be able to get into Disney for free if there was a hack. It's also just not safe for everybody. Come on, Disneyland, get it together. You don't have enough money? You don't have enough money to get enough security? Is that it? Is that why you're raising the prices on us on Disney Plus? Is that it? It's the Hudson Show. 3 weeks into the NFL season, we've already hit the Travis Kelce sucks because of Taylor Swift level of commentary. At least that's kind of what Todd McShay said on the Ryan Russillo podcast recently. Todd McShay normally focuses on the NFL draft, but he's been doing spots on the Russillo podcast. And he said, to be fair, he's not blaming Taylor Swift, but he lumps Taylor Swift in with Travis Kelce actually doing a bunch of other stuff, from going all over the place, partying, his podcast, his all the commercials he does is what he attributes to Travis Kelce maybe not being in the best shape and not putting up big numbers here in the early season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, Todd McShay, I feel like if he follows football for a living, he should know, and he's on podcasts all the time, he should know Travis Kelce's done podcasts for a long time. He's not far from the only player in the NFL with a podcast. He's far from the only person with a podcast. We all have them, even me. So I don't think that plays a big role. Maybe the commercials a little bit, but just because Taylor Swift is the most famous wife or girlfriend in the NFL doesn't mean that other players aren't out on crazy vacation. I mean, they've all got money. I just don't know what makes Travis Kelce all that much different from anybody else, except the reason that maybe he's struggling a little this year. It could be that he's just getting a little older. He's been around for a long time. He's old for a tight end. Also, they've been double and triple covering him. Give him a break. It's recently brought to my attention that this past Saturday, according to The Knot, the most popular wedding date in 2024. Okay. Number 2 was the past Saturday, the week before. And coming up in a few weeks will be number 5. October 12th is the 5th most popular wedding date this year, according to The Knot. I find this to be a big problem. Look, these last couple weeks, that's one thing, but October 12th being the number 5 most popular wedding date is horrible. And let me tell you why. You should not be having a wedding during college football season, really at all. It's just really disrespectful to all of your friends that may be college football fans. There's 51 Saturdays throughout the year. College football fans get like 12. Choose one of the other 38. But October 12th is particularly egregious. If you look ahead at the schedule, how are people having weddings on October 12th? Ole Miss against LSU, Ohio State against Oregon, Tennessee against Florida, Oklahoma against Texas. What are you doing scheduling your wedding for Saturday, October 12th, 2024? And I know what you're thinking. It's our special day. Well, make your special day a different day. That is wrong. It's wrong. It's disrespectful. Here's the only reason you can have a wedding a Saturday wedding during college football season is if it's your team's bye week and all of your friends are like, maybe you're Ohio State fans and you can have your wedding on your bye week. And that's a way to stick it to the Michigan. If they're playing a big game, that'd actually be kind of funny. But I mean, just be prepared for people to not come. That's all I'm saying. We're doing Would You Rather Wednesday. A question from Monica. Would you rather have everything you eat be pumpkin spice flavored in some way, or everything you eat be candy corn flavored in some way? Lots of people getting in the group chat.
877-2 Radio U.
I knew this would be a provocative one from Monica. Philip says, I like pumpkin spice more, but I think candy corn is more subtle, so I'd have to go with candy corn. The intensity of pumpkin spice would get old very quickly. Well, first of all, I think either of these, if they're in everything you eat, are going to get old very quickly. But good thoughts there from Philip. Andrea says, I like candy corn, not really pumpkin spice, but I'm picking pumpkin spice. Seems like it would be less overwhelming. Also, someone called the police on Monica. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind pumpkin spice. I hate candy corn. For me, so this isn't I don't think it's as egregious, but I mean, yeah, Monica, it is kind of diabolical. Max just says pumpkin spice everything. Cullen says, I don't want everything to taste like sugar wax, but also I've had pumpkin spice steak and it was awful. That was unexpected, but also it should be expected that I'd say throw a thing out there like pumpkin spice steak. Of course it exists. Of course people have tried it. Cullen says candy corn. It is. That pumpkin spice steak must have been bad. Susanna says, I like candy corn more than pumpkin spice, but to have everything taste like that would be more boring than everything pumpkin spice, because pumpkin spice is a collection of flavors, so you could lean more into one or another in a given meal. John also said something similar. LOL, honestly, both are kind of gross when it comes to flavoring things, but I would rather the pumpkin spice over the candy corn flavor because you can use the spices in the pumpkin spice to create different items and flavors that would be doable. That does kind of feel, John and Susanna, like you're bending the rules of this made-up game that I've made up, but I'm taking credit for making up Would You Rather Wednesday, but I'll let it slide. Regina says pumpkin spice. Candy corn is too sweet for all the time. That sums up my answer. Even if you like candy corn, to have every single thing you eat be sugar flavored, that's one, unhealthy. Two, that just doesn't seem smart. You don't want sweet things for dinner all the time. Even if you're a child, you'd get very tired of having sugar overwhelming everything you eat. I think pumpkin spice, you criticize it if you want, you don't like it, it's overrated, whatever. It's kind of versatile. Like you can put it in sweet stuff. You can put it, I imagine if you took it easy, you could have a pumpkin spice steak that wouldn't be the worst. So I'm team pumpkin spice as well. 1 month away from Halloween, just over a month. You got to get your costume ready. We've already heard about how Chipotle has their very first ever official Halloween costumes you can get at Spirit Halloween. Now it turns out they're not the only restaurant getting in on the Halloween action. Spirit Halloween also selling costumes for Cinnabon, where you can dress up as a box of a Cinnabon with what looks to be a warm, gooey Cinnabon inside. Also, Auntie Anne's. You can dress up like a cup of Auntie Anne's pretzel nuggets, which these are doing exactly what they're meant to do, which is more than anything make you hungry for Cinnabon and Auntie Anne's, which granted, it doesn't take much to make me hungry for Cinnabons and Auntie Anne's, which is why I think that these costumes are fine. If you want to dress up as one of these, I mean, go for it. But what I really think we need to do is start normalizing handing out Cinnabons and Auntie Anne's pretzels for Halloween. How much happier would you be as a child if you're trick-or-treating, you go to the door, oh, it's not some Sour Patch Kids, it's a thing of pretzel dogs. Get ready for your next flight to take a little longer, at least if the researchers at the University of Cambridge have their way. They have a new proposal that they say would really be positive for the planet. All we need to do is make every flight take 15% longer. They want to slow flight speeds by 15%, which would make each flight take about 50 minutes longer on average, but also slash fuel consumption by 5 to 7%, which would make a big contribution to, you know, all the fossil fuels burning into the ozone layer, however it works. And surely if every airline started making every flight take 50 minutes longer, they'd probably give us a discount. They'd be burning less fuel. I think a discount would probably be in line. Listen, I am all for doing positive things for the planet. We got to preserve what we have here on Earth. I've seen pictures of Mars. I've seen the moon. Doesn't look that good. I don't want to have to leave Earth because we destroy it. But why does everything that, you know, helps the planet have to hurt us? What are the trade-offs? You know what I'm saying? Why are all the things that help Earth? How come there aren't things that help Earth that are fun or that make things more convenient for us? Disney Plus has unveiled the details of their crackdown on password sharing. Basically now, if you have a Disney Plus account and you want to share it with somebody that lives outside of your house, or probably more likely, right, you want to keep on using somebody's Disney account that's outside of your house, what it's going to do is they are going to start charging you $6.99 per month for the ad-supported plan to add on an extra member. And if you want ad-free, it's another $9.99 a month to add on an extra member outside of the household. Very confusingly, like bafflingly so. If you want to add somebody's account, they cannot have an active or canceled Hulu, Disney Plus, or ESPN Plus subscription. Not sure why they would care that you would be, in that case, it sounds like paying twice for like the same thing, but nevertheless, it also seems to only apply to Disney Plus accounts only and not to the Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus bundle. It's all very confusing. And on top of all of that, they are hiking up prices for Disney Plus coming up next month as well. So no matter what you do, Disney Plus is about to get more expensive for you one way or the other. Disney's just out here tearing families apart, ruining families. I mean, we should have seen this coming. It's not like they've always been super charitable and like reasonable when it came to like Disney World and stuff. Why would we expect them to, you know, take it easy on us with Disney Plus either? I guess what this really means is if they actually wind up going through with cracking down on password sharing, we'll see how effective that actually is. I'm probably not going to be able to finish Agatha all along. This is not financial advice. The Hudson Show on Radio U. And even if it was, I would be the last person you should take financial advice from. But you might be able to make some money if you invest in Moodang's cryptocurrency. Moodang, if you haven't seen, is an incredibly adorable baby pygmy hippo in Thailand at a zoo there. It's been turned into a meme. People love Moodang, and now they've turned Moodang into a cryptocurrency as well. And unsurprisingly, because of the memeable nature of Moodang, the cryptocurrency also has been taking off. It looks like it's gone up like 30% in just the last day or whatever. Each coin at the moment, each Moodang coin is worth 9 cents. But what does that mean? Lots of room to grow. So if you want to possibly get in on this thing, you can find a way to get on Moodang cryptocurrency train before it's too late, before it gets to the moon. Dang. A few minutes ago, talking about a possible new meme coin that seems to be taking off, the Moodang coin, based off of the popular viral baby hippo from Thailand. And when anything like this comes along, we've seen this happen in the past with Dogecoin, with other coins, with GameStop stocks and things of that nature. People love to get behind. I mean, one, it's fun because it's like a community thing. You feel like you're a part of something. But also, you know, you talk about the lottery, you talk about gambling. People love to find ways where they think they can just get rich quick, where you can find money and you don't have to put in a lot of hard work. It's just like you just take a chance and hopefully, finally, you don't have to worry about money as much anymore. But the truth is, like, if we're all honest about it, we know the right way to make money is not by playing the lottery. It's not by gambling. It's not with these stocks. The truth is that Financial freedom comes from making a lot of good choices over and over and over again instead of just taking one big chance. And that applies to a lot of things. The key to getting in shape is, eating the right thing and exercising routinely over and over and over again. It's not just like a one quick fix type of thing. And that applies to so many situations in life. We love to think about the quick fix, but the truth is the usual way to fix things or make things better is by making the right choice over and over and over again. The problem is that's hard. It's tough to do the right thing once. Forget about over and over and over again. But that's why God wants to be a part of your life, because God wants to give you that strength, that encouragement, that wisdom you need, that when you need to over and over and over again, do the right thing, God will be there with you, helping you, guiding you through each situation and making sure that you can stay as strong as you possibly can. Jesus really can do that for you. And if you want to find out, why not put him to the test? Say, hey, God, come into my life, make a difference, help me to do what's right, get my life on the right track. I know there may not be a quick fix in life, although talking to God kind of is the first step in a quick fix. If you want to find out more, start talking to him. Go to radiou.com/free gift to find out more as well. Good morning, Nene.
Hello, I'm here. I've got my Cowboys cup, got my Cowboys jersey on because I was told you have something here for me.
Well, there's a big game coming up for the Cowboys tonight.
What do you mean big game?
Well, it ordinarily may not seem like a big game for the Cowboys to play the Giants. Many other people wouldn't care. But for the Cowboys in this situation,
it's the Giants.
This could like end your season.
No, it couldn't stop. Guys, it's week 4. It's week 4. How many weeks are in the NFL for the people who don't watch football?
18.
18 weeks. Do you think at week 4 it's a little too early to start saying the season is cooked?
I don't know. If you go to 1-3 and you'd be in last place in the division and...
Now, listen, I'm not saying that it's a good sign. I'm not saying it's trending to where it needs to be. But come on, people have come back from being down 1-3. We almost beat the Ravens. I hate how I got so invested in that game just to watch them lose in the end, too. That was also disappointing. But we're not going to lose to the Giants. We're going to be fine. It's literally the New York Giants that are probably the New York Pipsqueaks before anything.
I don't know. Malik Neighbors, I'm going to say it, Nene. He is the wide receiver rookie for the Giants.
Yes.
He might already be the best receiver in the league.
Stop, dude.
He is amazing.
No, stop.
Browns fans know. They just saw it. They know.
Y'all was saying the same thing about George Pickens and the Steelers, and then what happened? Nothing.
I don't know. I think, I don't know. He might show out tonight is what I'm saying. Or it might be Devin Singletary, the running back, because the Cowboys cannot stop the run.
Okay, I do believe he will have a good running game. But as far as the defense is concerned for Dallas, I think Trayvon Diggs is going to pick up right back where he left off. He came out on Twitter after he wound up missing what would have been the defensive stop to actually get the win against the Ravens. He apologized. He said, guys, that's on me. I should have made the stop there, and I didn't. So I think he's going to correct his wrongs. Mm-hmm. He's going to get put on Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is still a rookie. Give him a few years, like Marvin Harrison Jr. They'll be fine. But right now, Trayvon Diggs going to lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up.
How many points is that apology worth?
What do you mean how many points?
How many points? Can you count that apology? You're so proud of it on the scoreboard tonight.
I'm so confused by what that means.
No, it doesn't mean. It means the apology. It's worthless. Worthless. Whoa, they lost. They lost to the the Ravens.
No, it's not.
The apology
worthless.
is not going to help them win.
He didn't even have to make that apology. Granted, we all knew that it was his fault, but he didn't have to come out and say that. He took accountability, and he's going to correct himself, and he's going to get back in the gym, back into workouts, back to the camp, and they're going to be just fine. Guys, it's the Giants. I literally had a friend of mine who I'm helping in fantasy football, and he was trying to decide, who should I start this week in fantasy, Kyler Murray or Dak Prescott? And I told him, you should start Dak Prescott because he's playing the Giants. And then my friend texted back, granted, this guy knows nothing about football, and he says, are you sure? They're playing the Giants this week. And I was like, okay, listen, they may be 1-2, but we're not that bad of a football team yet.
All right, so your level of panic at this moment is what on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say about a 5. And the reason I say 5 is because I still do not like our run game, and our defense cannot stop the run. I would go down to probably about a 1 or 2 if we fixed at least one of those.
Yeah, but what are you going up to if you lose tonight?
Probably an 8.
Am I the only one that does this? When you go to a restaurant that you don't go to often, or maybe that you've never been to before and you don't know when you'll be back, order way too much stuff because you want to make sure you get to try all the different things you like. For example, like at Popeyes, I could go tonight and I'd be like, okay, I'll get the sandwich meal because I'll be back in a week and I'll get wings then. But I'm going to Panda tonight, Panda Express, and I'm thinking, okay, I gotta get the orange chicken, obviously. And they've got a new hot ones, a blazing bourbon, whatever. I've got to try that. The Beijing beef. Okay, I've got to get that. I've got to get Rangoons. They've got an apple pie roll for dessert now. I've got to get that. I've got to get like 4 other things because I don't know when I'll be back to Panda. I don't go very often. I want to eat all of the stuff I like, and I wind up ordering way too much than I actually need, but still finishing it, of course. Does anyone else do this? This is why I'm never allowed to go to Cheesecake Factory, by the way. We continue to monitor the situation with new Halloween costumes for 2024 to make sure you can dress up as something fun. The latest headline I'm seeing here from Spirit Halloween, you can now dress up as Skibidi Toilet. Didn't have that on my 2024 bingo card. They are selling at Spirit Halloween and Spencer's an inflatable Skibidi toilet head. You're literally, the head like goes over your head. Your arms are poking out of the toilet that makes up your torso. And that is now available for you. So you may see that when you're out trick-or-treating or whatever your Halloween parties this year. Skibidi toilet, definitely a possibility. I'm glad they're doing this. Means I don't have to make my own. Would have been kind of difficult. Although I did have the toilet ready to go. We've got the Hudson hotline open.
877-2-RADIO-U.
Talking about foods and drinks that you are convinced people are just pretending to like, pretending to enjoy. Many good responses coming in here. Jessica, right off the bat, hit the nail on the head. She said, hummus. So yucky. Hummus sums up exactly what I was thinking for this little project we're doing here. Because I've had hummus. And there are people that rave about hummus. I didn't think hummus was disgusting, but I also don't understand what about hummus makes anybody excited about it. I think you're pretending. I think it's just not the worst healthier food for you sometimes. And so you act like you really like it, but it's just not, it's not exciting. It's not yummy. Steven says lima beans. Steven, I'm going to level with you. I don't know anybody that pretends to like lima beans. I don't know anybody that even acts like they like lima beans. I really feel like those are the type of thing that like if you eat those, you just know that the only reason you're eating them is because they're supposed to be, they're healthier for you. Susanna going a little different route here. Milk, which I don't know, like I guess straight up plain milk. Obviously chocolate milk is great. Milk, I mean, it's kind of nondescript, isn't it? And I understand why some people are disgusted by it. She also says M&M's. M&M's way overrated. The original M&M's, not that exciting. Not that exciting. I don't know if people think that's their favorite candy. It's a safe candy. Sheena says, and doesn't this sum up so many vegetables? Kale. Yes, it's good for you, but let's be honest, it does not taste good for you. Actually, I would say, Sheena, it tastes good for you. It just doesn't taste good. It's anything that tastes nasty. See, you've got to convince yourself it's good for you, or else why are you eating it? This is also where I fall on broccoli. People say broccoli. Oh, I love it. It's delicious. Broccoli is not delicious. You just got to cook it the right way. If there's only one right way to cook something, then it's not delicious. Yes, it's good for you. Fine, I'll accept that. But that doesn't mean just because it's good for you does not make it taste good. Brian says Taco Bell. What? What? Taco Bell? I don't know. Maybe, I mean, it's not the best Mexican food in the world. If you even can call it that. Tawny says coffee and wine. I'm not sure about wine. Coffee, isn't it funny? I was thinking about this too. That coffee, for me, is one of those things. I mean, yes, when I was growing up, I liked coffee, but what I really liked was cream and sugar. Then, for a while, once I transitioned to black coffee, I convinced myself, I'll admit it, I pretended I liked black coffee. But then at some certain point, like now I sincerely like black coffee. I like it. I didn't always like it, but somewhere along the way, you just convince yourself. And let's see, many people getting in here, like Christopher, for example, saying beer one, particularly IPAs. People have a tough time. We call this fired or hired. Whenever you've got a work situation that you need some answers on, we're ready to help. We've got a guy who sent this in to us who says, at a recent brainstorming meeting at work, a coworker, we'll call him Jay, left the meeting after just 3 minutes saying he had an emergency come up he needed to get to. Later that night, on Instagram, I saw a photo posted by a former coworker of mine with Jay that seems to be around from the time of the meeting, where it looks like they were at another office whiskey tasting. Technically, Jay didn't break any rules, but it felt shady since we worked hard while he attended a fun event. He could have just been honest about it, but now I feel conflicted about whether to confront him. I don't want to cause drama, but it's frustrating that he might get credit from our work. Should I talk to him about it or say something to the boss or just let it go? 8772 Radio U if you want to offer any advice for today's fired or hired situation. Should this guy be policing what this other coworker is doing, even if it wasn't technically breaking any office rules? I like what Chris says. He says it's not worth the drama to get involved, but if it's a continual thing that's been happening, that's a little different. Also, and this is what I was thinking, Chris, the timing of Instagram pictures isn't really enough to go off of. That could have happened a week prior, and the picture was just posted that day. That's right. You do not know for sure. I mean, this guy who wrote in may have more information that actually probably makes it more clear that this is where he was when during this so-called emergency, but it's not 100%. And if you confront this guy and that actually is an old picture and he actually did have an emergency, how bad are you going to feel? Alex, I kind of like what Alex says. Maybe bring it up in passing, like, hey, saw you at that whiskey tasting. How was it? Non-threatening, but still gets the message across that you saw it, and that might give you a little more clarity without being confrontational. Ethan says, if he lied to get out of work, that's shady. I'd mention it to the boss if it becomes a habit. One off, maybe let it slide, but keep an eye out. You just don't want to be overreacting when it's possibly a one-time thing. It sounds like that you've had no issues with this guy in the past, and you're not even his supervisor. So you may not want to just take things too far based off of one thing. Jamie says, if the coworker is not affecting your paycheck, I wouldn't worry about it. There's always other opportunities to get credit for your work. However, if it does affect your paycheck in some way, then maybe he should say something. That's right. And think about this too. I'll close on this. If you say something to, let's say, the boss, and then maybe the boss is like, oh, actually, this is really messed up. We're going to fire this guy or punish him, whatever. Then that possibly only negatively affects you, because then that's one less guy that you have on your team working with you anyways and puts extra load on you. So in this case, one single time, it's a hired. Just let it slide, but keep your eyes out in the future. Tiger Wine has a new album on the way, coming out October 25th. Toil and Spin, and joining us today on the show to talk about the new album, their new song Wax Magnetic 2. It's their guitarist, Steve. Welcome to the Hudson Show.
What's going on, dude? Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's good to get to talk to you, get to meet you, Steve, from Tiger Wine. First of all, where are you talking to us from?
I am in Colorado Springs. This is where I'm originally from. My wife and I just moved back here from Kansas City. So it's a little echoey in here right now because all of our furniture is still in Kansas City. So we have just just a box in this room and my Margaritaville chair that I'm sitting in.
That explains the chair. Now I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you have internet so that you can talk to us. Actually, that works out. What made you guys decide to move back to Colorado Springs?
We moved out to Kansas City. I was actually working at the studio where we made the record, helping my buddy to engineer bands. And but we welcomed our first baby 2 months ago. So we were like, you know what? Let's get back to the grandparents and the cousins and everything, so she can grow up with that. So we are back here now, which is not, there's worse places to wind up than Colorado Springs. So yeah, we're pretty happy about it.
I'd say so, and I think having the other family around to take care, to help with the child, that's going to be an MVP for you. I'm pretty sure that makes the move.
Oh yeah,
that makes the move easy.
Yeah, already it has paid dividends, so we're happy about it.
I don't think it's too early to ask, Steve. We're almost into October. What are your plans for Halloween?
Oh man, well, my plans don't really go farther than getting our furniture back from Kansas City at this point, whenever that happens. So hopefully we are back by Halloween with all of that and set up here so that we can. I'd love to be able to take our daughter. Well, she's only 2 months, but be fun to dress her up.
That's a good excuse
in one way or another. So yeah. So I'm sure my wife is much better at that stuff than I am. So I'm sure she has very cute ideas.
That's a good excuse. You have no matter how young the child is, you can take them trick or treating, and then that's more candy for you. So I think that's smart.
Yes.
So you haven't planned a costume yet?
No, I've thought about stealing our singer Hayden when they had their daughter in 2020. They were going to go trick or treating, and she was only maybe under a year at that point. But they were going to do put her in a bucket and dress her up as a lobster, and they were going to be chefs, he and his wife. And I thought that'd be hilarious to, if I could steal it, but we'll see.
It sounds like you've got a plan, so I think go for it. I think that's a great idea.
I'll roll with it. I'll tell him you said it's cool. So Hudson says it's fine.
That was 2020? So does that mean that did not work out because there was no trick or treating then?
That's correct. Yeah, 100%.
You get to steal his thunder then. That would actually be amazing.
No. Yeah.
So, I guess around Halloween too, though, you'll be celebrating the release of the new album, Toil and Spin, because it comes out on the 25th. First of all, yes. Steve, I don't want to be too blunt here, but it's been 4 years since you put out music. That's a long time for fans, so I'm sure they'd like to know what was the holdup.
Well, a little thing called COVID-19 happened.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And so our last record came out in May of 2020. So we had all kinds of stuff canceled that year. And then life just kind of went on. We all, everybody kind of started having babies and, fun life things happening. So it just slowed down a little bit, and then this record has actually been done going on 2 years almost.
Wow.
At least the recording process has been done, but a lot of these songs are actually written in at least they started being written in 2021. I was just on a flight and I was going through my voice memos and I was looking through, I was like, gosh, some of these are, from late 2020 and early 2021. So yeah. And it was also, we were afforded time that we have not had in the past to be able to kind of be more persnickety about what we want. And we had written, I think we probably wrote about 25 songs for this record and whittled it down, which is also something we'd never gotten a chance to do. So we got to kind of, let it kind of become its own thing and take on its own flavors and shapes and stuff. And typically in the past, we had written everything together as a band in the same room. And this one was, we all kind of got into recording audio and engineering and whatnot. And so this time we got to kind of pass back and forth ideas, via via Pro Tools sessions and stuff, and kind of let things grow that way. So it just took a little bit longer than normal, but yeah. But other than that, just life stuff happening. Sometimes there's more important things than music, but all good stuff.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, we're glad it's finally almost here. We've heard Wax Magnetic here, and we're actually going to play it here in a second, and we love it. So I'm sure the rest of the album is going to be just as good. So then let me get you out of here on this, Steve. What do you hope people take away from the full new album when they get to hear it?
Man, a lot of this record is about, speaking to things kind of shutting down in 2020 and stuff. We used to, as a band, we'd always say, like, we've had all these cool opportunities and things that have, we've gotten more out of this band than we could have ever imagined we would when we started it almost 12 years ago now at this point. And so we'd always say this thing, we're like, what, if we broke up tomorrow, that would be just fine. We've gotten everything we need out of it. And then when you can't play shows and stuff and life happens, you kind of go, you know what? I don't think that was true. I think that's probably a lie. You always want a little bit more. And so a lot of the record is about kind of cherishing what you've got right now and trying to just be joyful in the moment instead of worrying about what's happening down the road or what happened back in the day or anything like that.
Cherish the now. I like that. I think that's going to be a catchphrase in my mind now going forward. Steve,
there you go.
I cherish this time that we got to spend together. This was great.
Come on now. Me too, man. Thanks for having me.
Get your popcorn ready. It's our weekend tradition here on the Hudson Show. The weekend watch list, letting you know what movies are new that you could be watching in theaters and at home this weekend. So kick things off with The Wild Robot, new in theaters. Shipwrecked on a deserted island, a robot named Roz must learn to adapt to its new surroundings, building relationships with the native animals. Roz soon develops a parental bond with an orphaned gosling. Starring Pedro Pascal is in this movie. Lupita Nyong'o, Catherine O'Hara, pretty good cast. And by the way, it's got a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics love it. William Bibiani of The Wrap says, a rare cinematic experience, a very special and transfixing film that hits all the right buttons. It is animated, if I didn't point that out earlier. Many of the critics I've seen kind of say, even though this is a DreamWorks movie, they say it seems more like a Pixar movie, which is a massive, I would say, compliment. But maybe that's not for you. It's animated. Maybe you're a little too grown up for that. Maybe you want to see Megalopolis. A conflict between Caesar, a genius artist who seeks to leap into a utopian idealistic future, and his opposition, Mayor Franklin Cicero, who remains committed to a regressive status quo, perpetuating greed, special interests, and partisan warfare. It's got a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. You'd think it would have something better, possibly based off of that very pretentious sounding description. But, well, speaking of pretentious, Linda Merrick of The Sun says it's the most pretentious film ever. Probably not, but it's a contender. It's from Francis Ford Coppola. This is a guy who made The Godfather. He hasn't made movies in years, spent not billions, but just tons of money on this thing, and gets a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. Probably won't even get Oscar nominations. Maybe that's not for you either. Maybe you don't want to leave home. Maybe you just want to sit on your couch and watch Wolves on Apple TV Plus. Hired to cover up a high-profile crime, a fixer soon finds his night spiraling out of control when he's forced to work with an unexpected counterpart. It's got a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, fair to Midland. It is George Clooney and Brad Pitt, though, together. And Lynn Venhuse of the Webster Kirkwood Times says, the joys of watching two of our most charismatic superstars work together again on screen are reason enough to see Wolves add comedy and action to a twisty crime thriller, and the result is a breezy, entertaining caper. Any of those tickling your fancy for this weekend? Let me know at 8772-RADIO-U. Among other things, there's also Travis Kelce's TV acting debut in Grotesquerie. The season premiere of SNL's 50th season is this weekend, and Inside Out 2 is now on Disney+. Let me know what you get to watch this weekend at 8772-RADIO-U. That's your weekend watch list, and we'll see you at the movies. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.